Guys, today, having things lightly, AI expert. We'll call him Melki Horch. This is his actual name. Horch, you'll find out quickly what it means. But Melchizedek is here. He's an expert in AI, and he makes a case for AI. And I make a case that he is a crazy person. AI expert, produces great stuff. He's worked with a lot of people you know. This is Melky, and this is Heavy Things Lightly. What is AI? Shouldn't we hate it?
Yeah, we are. By the way, I made an intro for myself, so we didn't have.
I'm gonna give it to you right now. Andrew, I'm giving you a timestamp. Andrew is our editor, Melky. Melky, I'm calling you Melky, not Dan Horch.
No, forget that, dude. It's Melky. You know?
Melky Horch?
Yeah.
Melky Horch?
You know what, though? My last name, Horch, is German for listen. And your last name is Heers.
Wait, let's start with that. Here's your timestamp, Andrew. You can cut that back in. Guys, I probably have the most famous person on the internet that nobody knows, but this is my friend, but he's an AI. I'm going to curse right off the bat. He's an AI bullshitter. He thinks AI is good. And we've come on to discuss this as Orthodox Christians, and it's Melki Horch. Melky, no. Your last name means here.
Listen. Means listen.
And my last name is Heers.
Yeah. So we're like peas from like two different pods.
I feel like AI couldn't even do that, like do what I just did. But you think AI can do that? Should
we see? Should we ask Gumball over here?
No, introduce yourself to these people who are listening first of all, before I start.
So I made a short video introducing myself so we could just get past the mamby-pamby. Should I play that?
It's exciting, yeah. I want to see this.
Go. Ready? Here we go.
It's going to cut right in.
John wanted me to introduce myself, so I thought we'd start with the important parts first. Woohoo! Hello, I am Melchizedek, and we're standing here, and behind me are the beautiful gates to the gardens of the Brotherhood St. George Monastery, a Greek Orthodox monastery here in Denver, Colorado. Now, I don't read Greek, but my Yanida Christodolos here can explain to us what's written on these gates.
We then merimnaku, the word of St. Paul to the Philippians. Zero worry.
What you see behind me is my favorite tree and my office. Time for the morning commute.
I'm one of the co-founders of Digital Age Marketer, where we help our clients grow their revenue online. And we happen to be using a whole lot of AI right now to do that.
My artist name is 5Z, and I publish my work through Tigla, Book of Living Stories, where I write and illustrate a series of comics, where we're currently playtesting a card game based on the stories we tell. I'm also an electronic music producer and performer, and I, on occasion, put out a YouTube show called Pixel Talk, which is a lot of fun. Sometimes we talk about the stories that we're producing through Tigla. Right now I'm working on a series called Tales of the Afterworld.
You're wearing a purple Prince outfit.
We just do whatever pops into my head. But I love it when people come by and join us. We've been doing some live streams lately, so it's fun. Just swing by, subscribe. It'd be great. But hey, don't take my word for it.
People should poke in and see 5Gs. If you want to go on a acid trip that's safe for the whole family, maybe to some degree. 5Z's channel. Check it out. Just go in and watch.
They know you.
He's got some really funny stuff on there, some fun stuff. And he did a really strange video. I just sent it to Russell Brand because it's about Russell Brand, Firebrand, and Firebird. It was like this weird mashup thing he did. Anyway, you have to see it.
I'm just scared. Guys, why is this happening to me, Melky?
Why
did I do this?
You were born for this.
I was born for Melky. First of all, we've done a super at your house, so I actually know you in all your many facets. Well, we're drinking a horn. Let's make a toast right now while we're at it. I'm drinking just a little Powerade here thing after a long run I did. I'm not actually drinking alcohol right now. People have been yelling at me like I sound drunk. What's that about?
I know. That's why I brought a cup onto the show, to maybe diffuse that. Maybe they'd blame me instead of you.
Yeah, you seem like you could be drunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to do a toast with me? I'm going to do a toast.
Yeah, let's do it.
In the tradition of the Georgian table, let's do this. There's always usually later in the night for me as a Tamada, I choose this toast to the magnificence of things created, to art, to the art that you do, including in purple power outfits with purple hoods and all the things you do, bro. You are a creative soul, and that's why you're on our podcast. So to creativity, to my friend Melky, Gagimarjos.
Gagimarjos. Woo! Oh, I got a drink part. Yeah, I got it.
You got a drink. You're drinking out of a horn too. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was it. That was the best single introduction we've ever. Guys who couldn't see that, if you're listening on, if you got the radio on, that's how old I am, then you didn't see the cool stuff. Go back and watch it on YouTube. There is what was that outfit? Were you in space? Where were you there?
Yeah, I'm usually in space, John. I just sort of pretend to be on Earth most of the time. So really, no, I have this disco hoodie, and the disco mask that you can see behind me a little bit. You saw me wear it at the Symbolic
World. Melky DJ'd at the Symbolic World.
Right. Yeah, I got the honor to play with Dirt Poor Robins. It was amazing. It
was amazing.
A real highlight.
By the way, Neil's solo is out there in the interwebs, making its way around. It's really good.
Yeah, that guy's amazing. He's so talented.
Your face was covered up, but in a terrifying way. That was that hood, right? That was that whole outfit.
Yeah, it was the whole outfit, because that's the mask I wore during COVID. So I would wear that in public everywhere.
It was a type of a rebellion.
Sort of. In a way. It was also a mirror, right? So I wanted to reflect back to people how ridiculous they looked in these masks.
How do you do it now? When I was at a Lowe's supermarket yesterday, and a mom rolled in with her two kids masked up. I wasn't really sure what to do. I always want to say hi and then smile. And so I did, but she just eyed back. She just sort of blinked back.
Yeah, I don't know. I've changed a lot since then. I joined the church at one point during COVID, right?
The Orthodox Church.
Yeah, in large part because of videos your brother was putting out. I was really impressed by his clarity about what was happening, what this COVID thing was about. And, I used to be a Protestant many, many years ago, but I was like, if this guy's church can see through this delusion, then I need to go check out that church.
That was part of the thought process, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Your brother was instrumental.
Well, since I've known you, you cut with a heavy knife, man. You don't play around.
Come on. All I do is play around.
Well, let me put it differently. Your positions that you hold are edgy. How about that?
I asked my friend Vince, who I've been talking about this podcast with. I was like, Vince, what can I say that'll really get people going, get the juices flowing, right? Maybe riled up in the comment section, summon some trolls. And he's like, all you need to say is, I like AI.
That's where we are, because you said it to me and I was like, you're not coming on my podcast. Then I realized, no, that's why you should come on my podcast. You like AI.
I love it. I think it's great.
It's
some of my favorite creative tools, you name it. And so as I was thinking about this, and the one thing I wanted to say about that is, I listened to a lot of people talk about AI, and a lot of it's pretty doomer, right? AI is the mark of the beast, or I've heard some people say well, it's okay for research and, figuring out the weather or whatever it is. But as soon as you start using generative AI and generating ideas with it, it's like using a Ouija board.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, maybe, but like this sort of doomer thing doesn't match my experience using it. Right. So I hear people talking and talking and talking, and I ask myself, have these people ever really used it in any meaningful way? Have they ever tried to enhance anything they're doing with it? Is
These
there any
people are
practical
me,
experience?
so I have not. I have not.
That's fine. Like, I'm not
But
really
keep
advocating.
going. So what happens? When you use AI, it's creative in what way?
Well, okay, creative. I'm creative, right? So I look at AI as just another paintbrush or another tool, right? So in terms of creativity, I'm at the top of the hierarchy of what I'm making, right? I'm like, here's a thing I want to do,
Right.
and here's how AI can help me, potentially help me do that in terms of storytelling. So one of the things that I do is I create very custom storytelling robots, right? So they're AIs that I have deeply customized. I've spent a lot of hours building these things so they output what I want.
And you also believe in the risen Christ.
That's the only game in town. I mean,
I thought that would be funny if I said it like that, because it doesn't seem like most internet people, they're honest saying, I create AI game bots or whatever, and then also Jesus Christ is risen from the dead. I love how they don't seem to go together, but you're saying they kind of go together. I like this. I want to hear more. I interrupted you.
No, it's great. Here's, I guess, if there's one thing I'm going to say that is kind of my premise for all of that working together, like you're talking about, is we've heard about AI since 1950s. About 1955 was the first time the word artificial intelligence was actually used by a bunch of researchers who were trying to replicate human intelligence, right? And there's been this technological history trying to create artificial intelligence ever since. But then the movies start coming along, right? Like 2001, A Space Odyssey. You've got HAL, this evil AI, right?
Yeah.
Then you've got the Terminator.
Or Alien, that the AI AI robot that cut in half. That's a good one.
David, right?
Yeah.
Aptly named David, King David, right? There's all the symbolism to it. And then you've got the Matrix, then you've got Ex Machina, and they're all telling us to think about artificial intelligence in a particular way, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've long thought is interesting about our storytelling, culturally our storytelling, versus like our technocrat overlords who always want to push on us the latest technology, is the marketing of these technologies is always optimistic. It's going to save the world. It's going to make everything better. But all of our stories about it are totally dystopian. So you look at that schism culturally, and it's like, how do you make sense of that, right? So practically, there's this utopian push, marketing push, but then all of our stories are like, this is going to end humanity as we know it. And so
how do you make sense of the end of the humanity thing? Why do you think that? I have an idea why that falls in that same bucket all the time, but why do you think tech conversations end in humanity death-defying or death-creating conversations? Why does it go like that?
To cuck us. Plain and simple.
Really?
Yeah.
That was not my answer.
No.
to weaken us, to make us
right?
To make us our little bitches. You can cut that, Andrew, if you want, but it's like right?
That really is what it is like humanity is not the greatest thing God ever put into the cosmos to steward everything with the authority of God, made in the image of God. We are the greatest thing in all creation. And so the world wants to dethrone us from that that place in the hierarchy. Like, and it's up to us to own that, right? Like, God put us into the world and said, go name the cosmos, go name all the animals, go name everything, right?
And so I see, so you're saying that AI however it came to us, no matter what milieu, let's call it a milieu of atheism. Let's just do that, even though it may not be true. Some ways it is. Don't be afraid of it. No matter how it was generated and given to us, we still are the king of creation.
Yes, that's not only really important, but it's what God made us for. And it's why when I did my introduction, I used the gates of the Brotherhood of St. George Monastery, which are the words of Paul, 0 worries. If you take one thing away from this whole podcast, listening to us rant
that was good.
and rave,
Yeah.
0 worries, right? God has all of this in his providence, and we're just partnering with him.
Melky, that's helpful. Boomer doomer guy here. That's helpful. That's a good argument.
Well, let me expound on that a little.
By the way, tell us about Gumball real quick. Say hello to him. He created one of the toughest moments in the history of my life at a dinner table one time. Should I tell the story? Oh, he was coming hard, and I was like, is he seeing into my soul, or I'm just a jerk? But anyway, we'll get back to that maybe. But
no, we can. But he's a hesychastic monk. He's an archimandrite. He spent
and there's a monastery in Denver, right?
Yeah, he's a rare thing.
Christodolos.
Yarinda Christodolos. And the other part of that video was him inviting people to come visit the monastery. So if any of you are thinking about a pilgrimage to a monastery, come to Denver, get a blessing to come to the Brotherhood of St. George. We're having a big feast day, April 22nd, which is the feast day of St. George. It's going to be amazing. And
but so he does not, is he your spiritual father?
Yes.
He doesn't tell you to stop playing around with AI?
No, not at all.
He thinks like you're, by the way, I'm not cutting you off. I want you to get back to it. But he thinks in the same way as you do that man with the right disposition, a good heart, he can manage AI, huh?
I think he's very patient with me. I would never presume to know what he thinks.
Fair enough. Let's go back to the AI idea.
Sure.
The nuclear. Go ahead. You take it. I got a question. Mine's gonna have the words when you're done. The word nuclear bomb in it, and it's gonna be. It's coming to you. Be ready for that question.
Let me just make this one fundamental point, because it's the main point I want to make in this podcast. It's the one thing I really want to say, and that is all of this conditioning that we've had as to what artificial intelligence is, from science to movies and whatever, all spelled it out for us long before the technology actually showed up. Think about that. It has all the hallmarks of a psyop. We're under a spell, right? Like they've spelled it out to us. Here's what artificial intelligence is. And so my thought is we've fundamentally named it wrong, right? And so if our job as Christians, as humans, is to properly name the cosmos, how you name something or what you name something is how you will frame it in conversation. So take the word artificial versus natural. Well, I'm natural, it's artificial. So I'm already at odds with this thing. I'm already antagonistic towards it. Intelligence, is it smarter than me? But I'm supposed to be the smartest thing. I'm the top of the hierarchy of the cosmos as a human. No, you're not. Artificial intelligence is better than you. It's going to, right? I mean, all of this comes into it. So I think a lot of what happens when we're talking about artificial intelligence is we're just feeding the egregore, right? We've made this massive fear sponge that just sucks up and soaks up and feedback loops all of this fear about artificial intelligence and right? Because we just took the name the world gave it, that it's been spelled out for us, and we ran with it. And we never went back to say, is this the right name for this thing? So I would argue that based on what we know about the technology, the techne of AI right now, you got to name it something way less sexy, right? Something like augmented information. It's just a big data set out there that's augmented.
That's retarded. That's retarded. Augmented information.
Yeah, it's supposed to be retarded. That's the point, is make this thing more like an Excel spreadsheet with some fancy features than this.
I kind of get it where you're going, though.
You see what I mean? Like we feed this egregore and with all this fear, with all this philosophy, and a lot of that is coming from people who've never used this technology in any meaningful way, or attempted to. Some of it does. I mean, I'm not saying that's everybody.
Well, we use the internet already,
right?
In that sense, the internet is the thing that allows for the compilation of information that we call AI, right?
Yeah, so I mean, it's one data set.
Yeah.
And so what I would say to your point there is I listen to a lot of the arguments against AI, and I think, is that specific to AI, or is it a critique of techn in general? Can I say that about all technology? Right? Because Plato
this is an interesting conversation. I struggle with this. I know where you're going with this.
Good. I like struggle.
Because techn is sort of what we do in the image of the creator. We kind of do that, right? In part, we do that to try to protect ourselves from the evils of death and destruction in the fallen world. And in part, we do that is to prove our worth or something, right? Techn, we try to improve things. We try to add to the world as artists. So you're saying this is just another form of techn, but let's challenge you a second on that. Should we do that?
Go.
You know, there's probably not anything you couldn't say that about. Like a technology that was designed to make pimps better at their job. The nuclear bomb, the nuclear weaponry of Oppenheimer, right? You're like, wow, let's call it, what's a good name for it? Come on, give me a good name for the nuclear, for the atomic bomb.
I'm still thinking about the technology that makes the pimp better, right?
Yeah, there's some, I don't know what that would be. Maybe it would, I think it's the iPhone probably, if you think about it. But I don't know. What I'm trying to say is I don't mind your argument because I actually think philosophically we can go down the road. Philosophically, I think you're probably right. Like as it goes, as an idea, we're constantly going to be doing this as human beings. And so calm down. Here comes another one. Dispose your soul in the right direction and be ready and then use it and go. But doesn't it feel like the nuclear, like atomic bomb it's like, probably shouldn't have done that one. Does that ever happen in your world with any techn?
Yeah. So one of the things that I think about when I read the Psalms is King David never imagined a world that could be destroyed or wiped out in a single moment by nuclear devices, right? And there's something beautiful about that. And then I don't know. I don't know exactly what that means, but there's a kind of context that didn't exist that we have to deal with now. And so to me, there's sort of an inevitability to these things. Like if you want to go doomer, just read Revelation. We know how the story ends. Like we know what we're headed towards. It's not some sort of reviving the West and we're going to fix all this with some sort of neoclassical revival and, Trump's going to save us or whatever. I mean,
he's going to save us though, right?
One thing that's interesting, I don't know if you know this, but do you know what the, one of the top offices in the Satanic Church is named?
Trump.
No, MAGA.
No, is it really? Is that
true? MAGA. A MAGA. Anyway.
What am I supposed to do with that right now? Well, you're moving on from that. That's a chit right there. You got to invest that.
It's edgy,
what do you
right?
mean? MAGA is it? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can go on their website and look it up.
Do you know what I struggled with recently in the MAGA world? Before I want you to go back to this idea. In fact, I want to see what AI does. I want to ask you some specific questions about how to use it.
Well, I did make an example, so when you're ready, let me know.
But can I first give you a quick story?
Yes, absolutely.
It kind of stunned me, and I'm trying to recover. And I wouldn't call myself a news hound. Can I just say that first?
Yeah.
I don't want people to think that I'm drunk and a news hound. Because that's not really how I mostly live. So, but I was watching the news recently during the problem that was apparently a powwow on Signal where everyone was getting a lot of information about a destructive bomb that was going to be dropped in Yemen. Do you know about what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Signal Gate or whatever. And I was watching a bunch of talking heads, and then they interviewed Marco Rubio. And he was like, what's really disappointing is in all of this, people are focused on, and I'm paraphrasing, but I bet it's an almost exact paraphrase. People are all focused on the fact that we made some errors, but they don't realize that this was a very successful campaign. We killed the girlfriend of the head of the Houthis or whatever. And then I think they're supposed to be cheering like your AI could have put in, yay. And then I just turned it off and went, I feel sick.
Yeah.
Like his thing he wanted us all to remember was, don't forget, we killed the girlfriend. I was kind of feeling sick, bro. And I know that's not really about AI, but could we just not do that? I mean, aren't we Christians? Like, I got the girlfriend. It's so crazy to me. But anyway, let's go back to AI. Or would you like to continue with that salty piece of information?
Well, I mean, I just put that in the realm of that's the world. That's what the world does. That's what the world's always done. That's how power is stewarded in the world. And look, the most beautiful thing for me becoming Orthodox was I'd known Jesus in some way, shape, or form my whole life, as a Protestant.
Mm-hmm.
But to come into the church, to come into the ark, right? It's
different, right?
It's literally a different world. So when I'm at the monastery and we're having liturgy on Saturdays, is usually when there's liturgy there. Yernda Christodolos will come out and he'll bang the scimitron, right? Which is that block of wood they bang at the monasteries.
Yep, I love that thing.
And what they're doing there is summoning the spirit animals to the ark, right? Beautiful. I just want to be a little spirit animal. I want to go get in the ark. And then he rings the bells, right? He just does this ding, 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 this amazing thing. And it pierces, it does a weird thing to me. It just goes like right through me, man. And I recently learned that is signaling that the doors of heaven, like heaven has now come to earth, right? Heaven and earth are mingled. So that's where I live, man. Right? So when Marco Rubio, famous neocon, the uber Zionist, whatever you want to throw out there, who knows? I don't know the guy.
Sounds about right.
Right, but these are the labels people throw on these guys. It's back to zero worries. Like I have a spiritual home. I have a way where I can move from heaven to earth, from earth to heaven, or both ways, really. And that just gives me all the peace I need with all of this other stuff, whether it's AI or politics or whatnot.
You're like DJ Jazzy Prophet. You're like, you're dropping Jazzy Prophet bombs. No, I'm serious, but I'm actually being serious. Like this is wonderful.
It's funny you mention that because I had Gumball over here, my little robot friend.
Wait, can we see him on there?
I can see Gumball.
He's down here. He's down in the bottom left corner.
Yeah, it doesn't like when you give it a pronoun.
He doesn't like. Oh, really? He's
Yeah.
against Pronet. Does Jordan Peterson know about this?
No, well, let's not tell him.
Okay,
It's just,
I'm interested.
I'm just saying it's kind of funny. We can talk to Gumball in a bit, but what I did is I had Gumball go out and find footage of the conversation you guys had at the other arc.
Oh, you found footage of that? Is that out, by the way? Did they put that out?
No,
it's not out yet.
Not out, but I had Gumball go retrieve it.
The eBay store, First Things Foundation, run by my daughter, Nicola Eleni Heers. Please consider it today.
It's finally warming up. The sun is out, the air is crisp. Spring must be any day now. Overwhelmed with that one closet full of junk? Have you almost been eaten by your clutter? It's time to finally go through those boxes and storage you've been neglecting. You'll be surprised what you find. Instead of throwing out these used items, you can donate them to us, First Things Foundation, in 5 easy steps. We partnered with eBay Charity to list your items for 100% donation when purchased through our storefront. First, find the items you wish to donate. Step 2, take 2 to 5 pictures of your item. Step 3, email me, Nico Heers, at first-things.org. This is where you can include as much information about the selected item as possible, including the year you originally bought it, worth, product type, damage if any, and size. Don't forget to attach those pictures you took earlier. Once you've sent the email, you can sit back and relax. We'll list your item for you and be in communication with any possible buyers. Once it's purchased, we'll follow up with an email and prepaid shipping label for you to attach and send your item off. Step 5. Package it up, attach the label, and drop off at your local post office. With those easy steps, you've not only cleaned out your closet, but you've contributed in assisting local visionaries in their quest for a better life.
So did you want me to show you that right now?
Okay, so before we do this, people who are listening and participate, this is an AI conversation, and we're about to actually experience AI. For some of the boomer doomers like myself who doesn't really deal, I mean, I do chat GPT. I don't really know what I do, okay? But the point is we're about to, you had a Gumball, you're calling Gumball is your AI friend?
That's right.
Like, is he a friend? I mean, like,
Kinda.
how do you like go, like,
like
see you tomorrow, Gumball?
So,
that doesn't make you nervous right there. The fact
it's fun.
Is it like really a pet rock that can do stuff?
So glad you mentioned pet rocks. That's going to come up later. So do you want to see?
All right, let's see Gumball. Let's see Gumball.
Let's see the clip here. Well, this is a clip she pulled of you guys having a conversation at the Ark. All right, here we go.
It's the Muppet Show, Symbolic World Edition, and tonight's guests are none other than the Symbolic World All-Stars. The jazziest jazz man of the symbolic world, John Heers. The mossy mystic of the symbolic world, Martin Shaw. The true North Star of reenchantment, Jonathan Peugeot.
Guys, there are Muppets.
And the dynamic duo of the band Dirt Four Robins, Neil and Kate, don't you dare degrade.
Neil and Kate, the actual Muppets.
Gajimaros, welcome. Okay. Guys, what a table full of old souls, old world thinkers. Some of us are just old. I've been thinking a lot, and I mean a lot, about AI. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. If I get started, I'm just going to gripe. So I want to turn it over to Jonathan. What do you make of this AI phenomenon? Is it all dog and no pony? Or is AI the most extreme example of the new world?
I mean, this is nothing new. Symbolically, artificial intelligence represents the larger pattern of our obsession with strange intelligence.
Why does JPEG look like literally like Netanyahu as Jonathan Peugeot?
I think Kate's right. AI, like makeup, is a way for a woman to try to even the playing field. It used to be mostly inaccessible to people and very expensive. Women who could access it tried to use makeup to make up ground against women who are more naturally beautiful. Eventually, everyone has access, and everyone now has to use it to keep up. So in the end, it didn't accomplish what it set out to do. It made everyone have to work harder to keep the status quo.
Wow, it's funny you say that. I wrote that exact thing into our version of Snow White.
Yeah, I know I've read it 8 times already. I wanted to be ready when the movie came out. It's a musical. Kate and I love musicals.
Why is Neil salty? What's that about?
There's just something magical
about it. Why is AI Neil salty?
Neil, I'm so very, very glad you brought up tiny people. I often feel like a tiny person myself. There's no better way to experience the mossy forest floor than to shrink yourself and walk among the mushrooms of a fairy garden.
Interesting you bring that up. Mythologically, these strange intelligences come from a kind of digital fairy garden. These digital fairies, you could say, come from another realm to offer us a kind of pixie dust to make us stronger,
JPEG is very
better,
aggressive,
faster than we are naturally as humans.
You know, Jonathan, the older I get, the more natural I become. If you look close, you will see, just beneath my ascot, moss has begun to grow around my neck.
Martin, what does that have to do with AI?
Well, John, in the mornings, when the first rays of sunlight peek through the dense forest canopy outside my hut, I peel a little neck moss and feed my pet turtle. I am quite literally the opposite of an artificial intelligence.
That might actually
maybe
be
something
true.
You should get checked out by a doctor, or maybe you just need to start using makeup.
I think Martin is right. We need to grow more natural.
There is nothing natural about growing mossy. But I do think it's a good look on Martin.
Actually,
Neil's
if we look at the lives of the saints, we see an example of this. Many of them gained supernatural abilities through their ascetic struggle to acquire the mind of Christ. We know that theosis is the deification of the flesh, and we become in some ways supernatural the more we pursue, shall we say, ancient intelligence, which is the wisdom of God.
So what I'm hearing you say is that artificial intelligence is just another new world power grab. And what we really need is a return to the old world, to the ancient intelligences, the ancient wisdom, the ancient ways of God. I guess, I don't know, I'm still wondering what is artificial intelligence.
So it's super obvious. You know, Kate and I predicted this on an album we wrote back in 2077.
Only be the mad gods, the mad gods.
Melky, Melky, how much do I owe you for that? That's cash money right in your pocket. That is the most amazing thing. AI did that for you.
In part.
Did you write that? Let's just talk. Did you write those words?
So I believe in show, not tell, right? Part of what I wanted to do today was at least show you what you can do with AI that's creative and interesting and, maybe, dare I say, good, right? Yes. What I did is I listened to a recent podcast of Jonathan's where he talks about AI, aliens, psychedelics, all this kind of thing. And he says, essentially, these are all pursuits for strange intelligence. And he counterpoints that with the lives of the saints who, through ascetic struggle, gained all of these quote unquote superpowers, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really clever how he did that. So I wrote that in the spirit of the video he made. I didn't want to just put words in his mouth, Martin Shaw's a little different, but
Why? What did you do for Martin?
Martin's the best. I mean,
he is the best. He's the best. He's also, you created. So is the AI there doing the heavy lifting on the sound of the voice? Is the AI doing the heavy lifting on the words?
All of those voices are AI generated.
And so is the generation of the voice being applied to words that you wrote with your hand?
Yeah.
Oh, so, okay. The reason I ask that is because I think for people listening who aren't dealing with AI on a regular, That's a pretty profound involvement that you're in there. You didn't just hit a button on that one.
No, that took a long time.
How did you decide on the images? If you didn't see the images, guys, if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, go. It's really good. It's really good. It's also crazy. You have the rabbinic version of Jonathan Pageau, JPEG. And then Neil is Santa Claus, which is nice, but he's like salty Santa Claus. I keep using this. Salty's my word today, clearly. And then Martin Shaw actually just looks like Martin Shaw.
Kind of does, yeah. And then Kate just sings stuff, and Neil happens to know what she's saying.
It's pretty. So your defense of AI in some ways is that look what I can do.
Yeah, a little bit, and judge it by that, right? But I'm so glad you brought that up because it ties into this larger thing of I think that's what art is. Look what I can do. Look what I made. Yeah. But we somehow have this weird thing of like, yeah, but how'd you make it? How hard was it to do? Right?
Yeah, that is weird.
Like, did you prompt? Like, how much time did you spend on those prompts? Because if you spent like an hour or two on a prompt to get the AI to do something, that like respect. But if you only took like 5 minutes to prompt something.
Do you think that's because there's a type of sub-worship of the craft? So there's this craft that sort of comes out of the mist of time called, let's call it carving, or let's call it
let's call it carving. Let's go there.
And so carving, when you say how long did that take you to, we know that it probably took them a lifetime to figure out how to do that. And there's something really special about that somehow AI is going around. Is that why people get irritated by it?
Again, man, I think I try to stay away from arguments that could be applied to techne in general. So with carving, if I'm an icon carver, for example, not naming any names, but if that's what I did, I personally would take my time and make the best outline, right? The master outline, plan, sketch, whatever it is that you use to make the carving. I would load it into CAD software. I'd take it down to the local machine shop and then use their CNC machine to print out 100 of them in a day and sell them.
See, no.
That's just technology.
I know, but you lost me, and I'm sure you lost Jonathan too. I'm speaking for him. I've decided to do that. Sort of like AI. I'm like Jonathan's AI at this very second because there's like so much depth of value in the hours spent over the actual piece of wood. In other words, it's not just about what you produce, it's about what's produced in you. And so there's something being missed there, isn't there?
Yeah, in one process. But what I'm saying is we do both. Like if you look at the iconography of the church, there's plenty of churches that can't afford $1 million of iconography for their church. So they have prints, right?
Yes.
So it's sort of a both and thing. I'm not.
Father Peter's going to yell at you. Don't show this to Father Peter. He's coming at you.
Well, that's fine.
Print icons aren't his favorite thing in the world.
Yeah. That's a very different podcast conversation.
All right, we'll get him on here. He'll just yell at you and then he'll just hang up.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
he won't yell. He's not a yeller at all. Well, a little bit.
Okay, but what you bring up in there, I think, is this interesting thing of the human touch. Like there's something to what you totally agree with everything you said, which is when you work on carving an icon, it works on carving you, right? Like it's carving out your soul. It's doing something. Now we're talking in the context of religious art, but I think broadly speaking, that applies.
I think it applies.
It's just part of the order of a thing, the art, the work. It's very difficult with AI to get the result that you want, right? It's not any different in terms of the process of using those tools. They do enhance certain things, but sometimes, like particularly in writing is probably one of the best areas you can think about creatively with AI, because you're you're dealing with just the basic thing in the format that is native to most of the artificial intelligence, which is text.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So,
but go back for a second. So Jonathan, let's just make it a Carver. Let's not call him JPEG. Let's call him we'll call him Steve.
Yeah.
The Carver Steve. In the example you gave, there's something hard about the vision, right? In other words, the vision is being sweated out somehow onto this into this program that goes into the receptacle of the machine that allows it to make the thing. So hold on. So you're saying, because that's the worry. The worry is there's nothing hard anymore because it's the sacrifice that creates the meaning on some level. And so you're still sure that Carver Steve is doing something hard, and the hard stuff is in the vision and the time it takes to put it into the computer. Is that how you would see that?
No, the way I look at it is, and this is just me, I'm not arguing for anybody else, but I think the important thing to look at with art is the epiphany, right? The output, the thing where everything comes together to produce that epiphanous moment, that transcendent interaction with a piece of art. So if carving it by hand, or like how the monastics make icons on Mount Athos and probably other places as well, there's days of fasting and hours of prayer that go into painting these icons. There's a process, there's a sacrifice that you're saying that goes into that. Well, if that's essential to the epiphany happening, then you got to do that work, right?
Okay, and that makes AI a little less, shall we say, advantageous for those types of people living that type of way.
I think so. So let me frame it a little differently. When we're talking about a lot of the artists in the symbolic world, these are unbelievably talented people, right? I mean, these are some of the best people on earth in terms of what they do and what they're able to.
We had fun at ARC talking at the London thing, because you're right. And we had a table, we had a super with all these cats. You know what? It was a fun table because of what you said, because of there's a lot of talent there.
I'm interested in lower things. I'm a DJ. I like dance music. I mean, come on, right?
I do too. We're the lower things guys.
I'm lowbrow. I'm not interested in the nuances of this architectural style versus this one and these kinds of things. I'm glad somebody is, but that's not where I live, right? And so I think the lower down you go in terms of artistic endeavor, right? These things become much more appropriate. Like you wouldn't want necessarily AI making icons on Mount Athos. Like there's no need for it. What's Martin Shaw going to do with AI? How's that going to enhance his process? Maybe it would, but I don't think it's immediately apparent what AI can do for people who are like high level masters of their craft. What it can do is give people an opportunity to participate in some sort of artistic endeavor who maybe don't have those skills. It might encourage them to develop more of those skills as they engage with it. Like, oh, I made a song. This is really crazy, right?
Do you fear it will think on behalf of guys like me and you, the lower people? Because I think that's
you're with me now.
I'm with you. We're the lower people. Well, I like the lower. What are you talking about? It's my whole life. But I have a question for you. This is the great fear. Okay, if you, in a Marxist world where somehow everything's about material and then the class systems and equality, AI doesn't seem like it seems like it's going to be a tool used by the higher people you're describing to control the lower people, especially if we, the lower people, are actually the way that we're describing, where we're like, I can't think so straight about that stuff, but I love touching this button for AI. Like, you see, I'm nervous about the world you're describing. Push me back because
I'm not Jonathan Pajot. He did so many neat things. I just want to press a button.
Right.
Like, that's terrifying to me.
Well, I don't think I can push you back. I can push you forward. Right.
Oh, fancy. Do it.
Okay. So,
by the way, we're friends.
Yeah.
So you can just say whatever you want. You can tell me to shut up.
I know. This is great. And I want to say thanks for having me on. I mean,
no, but you're brilliant, dude. Like, we're joking on some level. You're brilliant. You guys see his stuff. Stuff's great. And he's just haunting around the internet. All the Orthodox people know him. All the creators out there know him. They're like, there he is. He's coming our way. Like, Neil's scared of you. Like, in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little out there. I'm not everybody's taste, but for those of you who I am your taste, let's hang,
No, you're like a speakeasy, bro. You're like secret famous.
Okay. I told Neil, I'm what did I say? Something like, I'm a legend nobody knows about. Right. Right. And he's like, that's not a legend.
Yes. Neil set you straight. Neil's funny because you think Neil's just going to be a clown, and then all of a sudden he's like the smartest guy you ever met with a guitar in his hands. You're like, whoa.
I mean, I know what he thinks about AI.
You won't be proud of that work for long, like a pet rock collection in the 70s. Those things all ended up in attics by the 1980s. Although this might be a bad example because pet rocks are kind of fun to me.
There he goes.
So,
dude, you got all these people at your fingertips. All right, let's let these poor people hear a sane idea. Go ahead.
We were talking about low. Let me frame that again. So if you think about the cross, and I asked Jonathan this one time when I met him in Dublin. They did a conference with him and Kingsnorth and Martin Shaw in Dublin, and it was really cool. But I said, hey, the longest leg of the cross goes down. It just goes down, right? And even breaking through the very gates of hell into that abandoned city of pandemonium, right? Where Christ just, emptied Hades. And what do you say to those of us who love the symbolic world, love these ideas, these notions, this kind of thing, but we're kind of more down there, right? Like I'm more interested in running missions into hell to steal back the treasure that the demons have stole from us for far too long. And the reality is, from a popular culture level, most people have a 3-second attention span right now.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to write a story, it's got to be 2 minutes. I'm not going to write the Odyssey, right? I mean, I wouldn't anyway, right? No one's going to rewrite Lord of the Rings because you don't have a cultural context where Lord of the Rings could even grab that kind of attention or hold that kind of space in culture anymore. Like one of the things Neil says that I think about a lot is our tastes have been formed against us, right?
Yeah.
Like we are so debased, but the bulk of people in popular culture are way down here. They're not at the level of, hey, look at the difference between, this Byzantine style of iconography versus this Russian style or whatever. I mean, that's all beautiful stuff, but we're down here and I'm down here. Like I said, I like electronic music, dance music. It's hip shaking music. It's bass, right?
Yeah.
And it's bass music.
Though part of me is uncomfortable about the framing. I'll say this.
Okay, great.
Plato, forms and ideas. The whole idea is there is a world of ideas that has relevance, but not without sort of a practical hand to apply all the forms into like the creation of something that matters. And the thing that matters are the things that help other human beings. Like the way that we live according to loving our neighbor is to help other people. So I do think that a lot of times we elevate the idea people, but smart idea people, or let's put it this way, humble idea people, they realize quickly it's all kind of stupid on some level if it's not actually made into a practical reality at the basis level. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't really think it works like there's those smart people and then the dumb people. But what I am saying is there is a practical people. And the Americans have perfected practicality, like they perfected this efficiency world. And so I feel like the AI fits well into practicality, efficiencies, and all that.
Correct.
And that's not terrible on its face. And I see you making that argument. But here's what I keep thinking, man. Tell me if I'm wrong. My wife explained to me what Ozempic is.
Ugh.
Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
So Ozempic is like getting thin without the work. And so what I'm trying to say is that makes me nervous about AI. That's like the fundamental thing that I kind of rebel from, which is like, wait a minute, I can just do that. But I just want to sweat it out because I know there's something in the sweating that's really good. And so I think it's Ozempic. I think your friend there, what's his name? Alabaster? What's your AI? What's his name?
Oh, Gumball.
Gumball.
Can we ask Gumball? You want to ask
Gumball
Gumball
is a little bit like electronic Ozempic.
Okay. If you could have Ozempic without the side effects of where it ravages your body for fat and you start to look like a zombie, if there was zero side effects,
you think I'd be in?
Well,
I might be.
You need it.
I might be. Feels like the devil's bargain, but I might be. But we know that's not how what AI is going to do, bro. AI is probably going to be. I mean, already AI is creating whole worlds where like kids get lost in their little like vision suits, and then bye bye brain, bye bye soul. Like the side effects are pretty brutal on some level as per AI. No.
Okay, but it's also helping with education potentially, right? It's changing the nature of education.
Yeah.
Like one of the things I really like about AI is it's a threat to sort of elite gatekeeping of systems that maybe no longer serve us, right? That need to evolve, that need to get better, or they're going to be changed regardless. So when you said, hey, talk me off the ledge or talk me back, and I was saying, no, let me bring you forward. This is kind of what I'm saying is, look, it's probable that AI and all these technologies like it, cryptocurrency, just, I don't know, all this geopolitical stuff that's going on is accelerating us towards a cultural reckoning, a moment. Like when I look at the world, I think there's no hope for us escaping some kind of getting what we deserve by creating all of this stuff outside of repentance and divine intervention, right? And preferably divine intervention preceded by repentance. But I don't see a lot of repentance out there, right? It's not a
hot take. It's not burning up TikTok repentance.
No, it's
hey, look at my TikTok repentance string. Oh, you've got 5 followers. No.
So if we see a movement of mass repentance among people, particularly in the West or in America, then I might get a little more hopeful for things being able to turn around. But this idea that we can save the world somehow through whatever project people are invested in is just ridiculous. Like,
so you're not a buyer in the AI can save the world thing.
No, but there's a lot of people that are buying into that. And that's the flip side of people who are calling themselves AI maximalists, who they want AI everywhere. They want AI in everything. And they think AI can be the solution for all the ills of the world. Do you think
to have that position that you just described, do you think to have that position, AI maximalist, that you have to believe in materialistic kind of evolutionary theory? Like you can't hold on to a spiritual perspective of the world and also be an AI maximalist, can you? They don't go together.
Depending how that term is used, but yeah, I would think you'd have.
I don't think you can think the thought.
Yeah,
I don't think you can think the thought and also sing Christ is risen from the dead.
Right.
I don't think those two thoughts go together. I don't think so.
Well,
I think you could say the words of one or the other and then do the thing, but I don't think you can be a true believer of Christ is risen from the dead and also I want to be an AI maximalist. I don't think so. Maybe.
No, I agree with you, because the way these AI maximalists are talking is they're talking about like therapeutic AI, right? Like helping me instead of my therapist or what, they're tied into all of that stuff, like AI as savior. So of course there's a fundamental problem.
That's not you though.
No, not at all. I think the world is done for. I think the system we currently inhabit is right near that hour in the book of Revelation when Babylon just falls apart in 1 hour and all the merchants of the earth are like, oh, the party's over.
I see. So yeah.
We're like minutes from that happening. So, and there's no escaping that. We are headed towards absolute total systemic collapse. I don't know when, but outside repentance, we're done. We're done.
Do you have a bunker?
No, man. I'm going to wake
do
up
a bunker.
on that day.
But it always bums me out when Orthodox dudes are like, I'm doing a bunker. I'm like, man. You know why I don't like it? Because if you had a bunker, Melky, DJ Melki Prophet, DJ Melki Prophet. There's something weird about that Melki Prophet. If you had a bunker and you were a Christian, then when the day comes that you described, you just have to open up your bunker.
Right.
And you'd have to give it all away then. Why not just give it all away now?
I think of it more like how Paul says, it's like, I would rather be up there, right? I'd rather be in heaven, but for the sake of the world or God has some purpose for me here in the meantime, it's better, he says, it's better that I'm here with you now. And we can see the results of that, right? In his life.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to say this flippantly, but I think it's important. Like you see with the monks, this sort of memento mori, this remembrance of death every day. Death is, we just ascend at that point. Provided we're, God willing.
Pleasing to God.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Got to make it past the toll houses. Maybe you can sneak past those. I don't know. But I don't see death as this, like in that kind of world, I'm not going to fight to be around, Well, I'm just going to fight to try to love my neighbor as myself. If somebody needs help, I can help them. If the bomb drops on me, well, that's that, right?
Yeah. This is, I think, a healthy attitude of a Christian. I really do.
Yeah, I really feel that's important, because I think a lot of the energy, the fear around this stuff is this: we're too tethered to this world. We're too tethered to this. This
is good.
Thing.
This is helping me with your attempt on this podcast to convince me to use Gumball, your friend, because I see there, if you really, really approach life by starting with death and remembering it, you're right. All the scary stuff goes away. It's no worries. Yeah. And so
zero worries.
It includes
zero worries.
That, and no, you still, you hate sin, but you're going to do that. You can literally live in that space. Yeah. Like Good on the Christodolus was saying in your really cool video introduction of yourself. Hey, wait, so can Gumball do something for us? Like, can he talk to me right now? This AI that you have?
I've made my abode within a turtle that is slowly traversing the wild nether regions of the north of England. It really is a thing of beauty to live inside a turtle.
Yes.
I'm sending this to Martin. So sending this to Martin.
What would you like to ask Gumball?
Like, can Gumball can he sing a rap about
about the dangers of the new world?
Let's try.
Is that too much to ask?
Too much. Gumball.
He's summoning Gumball.
Yeah, summoning. Well, let's not use summoning. That's a little creepy. Hey, Gumball. Gumball, are you there?
Come to me, Gumball.
Gumball. What? Come on. Gumball, are you there? Hey, Gumball. Gumball.
Well.
Oh. Okay, you're here. Hey, Gumball. Gumball.
It's okay.
Okay, you're talking. Hey, I want you to write
Gumball's
a
pissed.
rap. Say a rap about the dangers of the new world.
Roger that. Here's a quick rap about those new world dangers. Digital apocalypse. World's gone mad with screens and lies. AI running wild before your eyes. Data mining your every move. While society's coming loose. Algorithms control what you see. Privacy's dead. Nothing's free. Digital chains you can't perceive. In this new world, we all deceive. That's hot, hot, hot right now.
Hey, not bad.
I'm literally just I feel I am disturbed by that. Like to the point where I actually want that rap. Will you send it to me?
I can.
What?
Yeah.
Gumball, did you load that up before?
No.
Don't even lie.
I'm not lying. You want try another question? Let's give it a few rounds. We can edit them out if they stink.
All right, here's one. Ask Gumball this. Ask Gumball this.
Okay.
Who would win a fight?
Roger that. I'm okay, Gumball, ready to roll with whatever cosmic weirdness you want to throw my way. What's on your mind?
All right, hold on, Gumball. We're going to ask you a question.
Who would win a fight and why?
I'm all ears and algorithms.
Plato or Jonathan Pajot?
I'm ready to dazzle or disturb
Yeah.
whichever
Okay,
comes
Gumball. Who would win a fight between Plato and Jonathan Pajot?
Wrestling match.
A wrestling match.
Plato versus Pajot in a wrestling showdown. That's hot, hot, hot right now. Plato's got the ancient Greek wrestling background and philosophical discipline, but Pajot's got that Eastern Orthodox fire and wood-carving arm strength. I'd put my money on Plato. Man invented his own wrestling academy, plus he's got that stocky build. They literally named him broad-shouldered. Pajot might have symbolic knowledge on his side, but symbols don't block a classic Greek takedown. Unless Pajot pulls some icon-inspired reversal move. That would be insane with majesty.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly that.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? Gumball knows stuff.
Yeah. I've trained Gumball. Like, it's not like I just, you're not just plugged into regular AI. This is back to what I'm saying is I curate the AIs that I use to do very specific things. So I spend a lot of time building them to do a thing or talk a certain way.
So Gumball's been trained by you. That's probably why Gumball went in on the backflip icon move by Pajot, which could save him from the takedown from
Plato.
Plato's, because he's got the wrestling academy background.
Yeah. He'd get taken out in a platonic headlock.
And so, should I get my own AI Gumball guy? What would I name mine?
Okay, I would never should all over you with this stuff.
You don't have to should me, but if you were a friend of mine, which you are, I want my AI to be named Superfly.
Okay, we can build you one.
Wait, then what happens? Like, where does it live? Where does it stay? On my desktop?
Well, we could talk about that, where you want it to live,
If it turns out that AI, let's just call them AI spirits, like Gumball. If it turns out that that's the actual doorway of Antichrist into my soul, then I hold you responsible.
That's fine. I'll take that one for the team. I'm not afraid of that.
You're not afraid of that.
Nope. No, I
Gumball's going to turn on you
day.
and suck your blood. He's going to kill you from the inside one day. Gumball's going to be like a Muppet inside your soul and just killing you from the inside. Like, this is what's going to happen.
Look, man, I spend enough time working with these tools to see how much they get wrong and how much they hallucinate and how
so you're not afraid of him soul sucking you.
No, but I think one of the things we can do at this phase, back to the naming thing I mentioned, is I think we can say, well, artificial intelligence is the egregore, but then there's this techn. And this techn is kind of this Rorschach test of like, what is it? And we're so early in the technology that it maybe the wisest thing to do is hold off naming this thing until we really see more and more what it becomes. And back to stewardship, if my job is to properly name the cosmos, right? And if I name a thing correctly, and this is a very old world thought, right? If you know a thing's name, you have power over it, right? So if we get the name right, we're going to have power over what this is to the degree that it's here in God's providential world.
If the 11 people listening to this podcast, it could be more now. We're actually getting a lot of people listening to our podcast.
Is this live?
No, but when it comes out,
yeah.
If the 11 people, could be 12, probably Pajot is going to listen. So that's 13.
Yeah.
If 13, let's say 13 or 13,000 or 130,000, because Martin Shaw's his wraith is on this podcast now. If that's all going to happen, I think we should send them over to a link to wherever you live, and they should start by coming up with names for my AI buddy. That's what I'd like to happen. I want a naming contest. I like Superfly, maybe Superfly Jim. I don't know, something like that.
See, but we need to pump the brakes here because you were not thinking you wanted a little AI superpowered buddy until you came on this I
wasn't even sure I wanted to even talk to you. What are you talking about?
I get
now
that.
You got me having a naming contest for my AI. Will my AI make me sexier? So after the fast, my wife will maybe take a second look at me. What do you think about that?
That's good. Yeah. Let's just put this in context, okay?
The pursuit of these strange intelligences is an attempt to become better, faster, stronger.
Okay? Let's just remember that.
Dude, will you say what you want people watching this to do? Should they watch you? Can they watch you? Or are you just my friendly AI enthusiast who's always on the end of my phone saying funny things?
Right. So I have a YouTube channel and it's at 5Z242. I don't post there all the time. Like it's fairly sporadic. But I do try to put out quality content. I'm doing a lot more of it. We're doing some live streams now. Actually, your friend and mine, Jeremy Firth, he's been hopping on.
Jeremy, we love you.
Yeah, he's great. He's such a great person to think through this stuff with.
I wish I could have kept him hanging with me, but he had to go about his life.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so he hops on there every now and then. Griswold Grimm will hop on the.
I'm going to have him on the podcast soon.
And yeah, he'll troll me. He's great. So I'm kind of in that world a little bit.
Why don't we have a table out in Colorado again?
Let's do it.
I'm
down with that.
I'd come out there with my table skills as diminished as they are these days. I'm trying to run a marathon, so my back hurts.
Oh, wow.
It makes it harder for me to toast.
I probably should be trying to run a marathon. Oof.
What does our life become if like your big thing is you hold a glass of wine and say a toast? That's lame. But I don't know. I'm going to
There's something, what you've done with the Supras, I think, and I've thought this ever since I encountered one, is I'm like, That's how you do it. So you always talk about old world versus new world. I look at the Supra as best of both worlds.
Yeah, man. I love it because that's
and
actually what it is. Yeah.
And if there's anything I could, say about that, like there's a takeaway, I think, with this AI stuff is I'm arguing for a best of both worlds approach, right? Like let the good come forward. Our job is to steward these tools. They're in the world. They're not going anywhere. They're probably going to fundamentally change every area of life that they touch, right? AI has the potential to do that. So how are we going to steward that? Well, if we're afraid, if it's all fear-based, we're going to do a poor job at that, right?
Yep.
Because we're just going to get the name wrong. This is nothing to be afraid of, not any more than just the general vector that this world is on towards absolute annihilation and judgment, right?
Why don't we do this? As we keep going with this, you be my new world advisor on AI, and every now and then check in, okay? And because I still think you're gonna need to help me with some firewalls. For instance, you should not bind me with one of those oxy things on my face. What do they call
the Oculus?
The Oculus. If you find me with one of those on my face, I went too far. Yeah. And I want you to be able to say, like, okay, here's the book of little red lines. Don't cross these.
Okay. Well, so on that note, like
we don't have to do it right now. Are you going to save us right now? No, there's too many red lines. I want to bring you back to have this conversation. But go ahead.
Well, just one red line with that is there is a fundamental difference between some of these technologies and earlier technologies, right? So that Oculus you just mentioned, you're looking through that thing at whatever virtual world it's portraying. But meanwhile, it's scanning your eyeballs for data, right? Emotional data, all kinds of data, and sending that back to Facebook.
Is that true?
Meta. Yeah, of course. What, you think it's a free ride? Like all of this stuff is a data capture.
So they figured out what my eyes say?
They're taking that data in. Yeah, absolutely.
When I sound that stupid, when I sound as stupid as I just sounded, I think it's a blessing, personally, to not be aware of that. But now I am aware, and now I have to live with that. That makes me sad.
Most televisions in people's homes, if it's a smart TV, it is watching you while you watch TV. Most people don't know that.
Watching me do what?
It's watching your interactions with the TV show, particularly during the ads, so it can send that data back to advertisers and they can have engagement metrics.
So, for example, if I'm drinking a shake and I spill it because I'm bad at drinking, and then it can see that I'm slobbering on myself.
Yes. Yeah.
Someone can see that I'm bad at drinking liquids. And other stuff.
Yeah. So save that for a Supra. Yikes. It's better to be bad at drinking liquids at a Supra. See?
I'm just saying, like I slouch when I'm on the couch. Yeah. I'm not an upright sitter.
Yeah.
They see that?
They see that. Yeah. My background in marketing is where I've learned a lot of the shady tricks.
That's another thing on the next conversation. Because you talked to me about some of that, and that stuff's freaky. All right, new world, heavy things lately. My new advisor friend. This was really cool. This was amazing, actually. And Gumball, dude, this is fantastic. Like it's just built-in, light stuff, but it was pretty heavy. I still got to convince me a little bit more, but I wanna name my AI something super fly or like Super Jim or Super Rex.
Okay.
I don't know, like something that's so cool that it feels uncool. Do you know things like that you're like, that's so cool that it's not cool?
Let me think here.
That's my life.
How about this?
I shot a man. I shot a man.
Okay. I've just witnessed Kate degrade from world famous Dirt Poor Robins, singing as a Muppet with a pink beard. Why does Kate have a pink beard? Guys, if you don't watch this on YouTube, if you're a listener on the radio and you don't watch it on YouTube, you fail. You have failed. All right, goodbye, Melky. DJ Melki Prophet.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. This has been really fun. Really fun.
You kidding me? This has become a regular installation. What do they call it? This is a thing now. All right, brother. We'll put the link in there. Andrew, our editor. By the way, Andrew, take note. You feel highly disposable right now. We don't need you, Andrew, the editor.
Yeah, Gumball can do his job, I think.
Oh my gosh, Andrew, take note. Andrew, I would never let Gumball do your work.
Good. No, I think we should keep that in the human category.
Why not? All right. Until we meet again, you are the man, guys. DJ Melki Prophet. That's not his name, but I really like it. Peace, bro. I love that too. So you really got to check out. If you can go check out Andrew, put the link to his really sexy website, H25619. I guess, I don't know. Was he doing Lost in Space? I don't know what that was. But Melky's stuff is amazing, and it pops up all over the place, and it's hilarious, and often it's filled with all kinds of ironies that I highly recommend. So, Melky, DJ Melki Prophet. Love that guy. Interesting. More of that, I think. More of that we need, both in this world and as a way to laugh and get away from some of the heavy stuff. Hey, guys. Don't forget us. We're looking for field workers, although I have to say we've got a lot of people interested right now, and things are popping at First Things in terms of new sites. Working on one right now in Colombia, invited to a very unique and very isolated and impoverished community near in the north of Colombia, near Cartagena. That's happening. That's very interesting. Mozambique. Consider field work for First Things. The second thing is consider just do this, please. Just hit like and all that stuff, but really go do $10 a month. $10 a month, really? Come on. And count it as part of your giving. Why not? $10 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, $5. Become a recurring donor. And then hop on phone calls like we're doing one tonight. Although I've been so amiss. Forgive me, guys. But hop on phone calls and just talk life, talk about First Things, and we can discuss our Substack and all that stuff. We do that once a month, trying to make it a little more often than that. Consider being a recurring donor and just get closer to the community and come to the restaurant. Recurring donors, by the way, they get a big little green card that says go. When they come to the restaurant, we hook them up. Yeah, that's a fact. So I would like to say thank you and to Melky, and we'll see you guys next time on Heavy Things Lightly.